we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. Today is Monday, August 22nd, 2022, and this is episode number 405 of a show that provides insight and tools for us to build the lives and homesteads of our dreams. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. You know, the title of today's show is Knowledge, Education, and Self-Improvement. And the reason why is because sometimes it feels like I'm not making any progress with my goals, you know, and sometimes, you know, I'll speak for you too. Sometimes it feels like we're not making any progress with our goals, especially with something as broad as personal development, right? I mean, life can get crazy sometimes. You got a full-time job. You got a family, responsibilities, and it's enough to keep up with everything that life throws at us sometimes. But that doesn't change the fact that in the midst of everything that's already going on, we're not satisfied. You know what I'm talking about. Knowledge, education, self-improvement, and more. Despite everything that's going on in life, all of this is consistently on our minds. Why? Well, you know, because quotes like this stand out to us when we read them. Quotes by Dennis Waitley like, "Never rest on your achievements. Always nurture your potential." I think it's critical for us to take the time to invest in personal development, and that can be done in any number of ways. Like, consider learning a new language or read some new books. It's said that if you read 3 books on any subject, you will be an expert in that topic. Personal development may be intentional diaphragmatic breathing, and it could be changing the type of podcasts that you listen to. Hell, it could be sharing the ones that you already do. Personal development could, speaking of podcasts, check this out. If you drive 25,000 miles a year at an average speed of 46 miles an hour, you'll spend about the same amount of time in your car as an average college student spends in class. All right, and some of you guys that are on the road more than others, you can cram 2 years of university into one, maybe. Automobile university? I mean, so what are you doing with that time on the road? You can do any number of things. You can listen to and absorb valuable information. Or, in this case, how this all began, I began creating content. And I think sometimes maybe the best route towards personal development isn't simply consuming content. It's the creative process that really allows you to think through things differently. And maybe you've started that at one point. Maybe you started writing. Maybe you started a podcast. Maybe you started painting. Maybe you started knitting, but then you stopped that project. Why? That creative process can be included in your personal development goals. But I mean, speaking of podcasting, if it's something that you're interested in, try it. In the show notes, I'll link to the 28-day podcast challenge, which allowed me to get going with this and really fuel that creative process. This is something new to me. And it's helped me improve in this realm of personal development, and it's something that might help you as well. So yeah, I'll link to the 28-day podcast challenge. I'll also link to Buzzsprout, which is a good podcast host, which is now the one that 28-day podcast actually recommends. That's how I got started, and I recommend it for anyone who's interested in doing something similar. As far as personal development goes, consider looking for new places and sources for inspiration, mentors, and positive input. New places. One great place to check out that might be new to you is the 48 Days Eagles community. I'll link to this in the show notes as well. That's one avenue you can take to discover some gifts that you have not been using. Or potentially unlock something that will allow you to discover your potential for true achievement. I understand that this sounds like some wild snake oil bullshit. I get it. But what I have to offer you with this show and my words is little else than my own experience. Involvement with this community is something I considered for a long time, and it wasn't until I addressed my fears and explored something new and intimidating that allowed me to experience something new within the spheres of personal development. All right, so whether or not doing the same brings you to the 48 Days Eagles community, I hope that the process of addressing your fears and trying something new and intimidating unlocks something for you. Life is not something to be taken for granted. All right. Listen to me. If we really get down to it and do a deep introspective dive into our lives, you will see just how much you have taken for granted as well. However, we don't often do this because it's painful. It shows us just how shallow we really are. We want to think that we're better than that, but we're not. Now, I'm not trying to turn this into some sort of weird self-deprecating show, but rather I mention this because these are some of the very things that contribute to us often feeling like, oh, we're not making any progress in life. Because making progress with this thing called personal development, it's not easy, man. A lot of fucking gurus out there make it look easy, make it sound easy. It's not. It's simple. But it's not easy. Because life can get crazy sometimes. We've got families, we've got jobs and responsibilities. It's a lot to keep up with. Sometimes it's overwhelming. And nevertheless, all that's going on leaves us feeling unsatisfied. So guys, if you want to experience something different and something more, then just check out the show notes. Explore the links within the show notes and begin creating your new life today. It's simple, but it's not easy. and it takes time. But I promise you that if you start now, you'll experience success sooner than later. Like planting a tree. The best time to get started was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So guys, check out the show notes for links to everything discussed in today's show. Check out the Telegram group for the best opportunity to connect with each one of us personally. We're also on social media. I'd love for you to engage in the communities there as well. And again, links for everything talked about in today's show are in the show notes, and I'd really encourage you to check it out. You won't regret it. So happy Monday, everyone. Have a fantastic week. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's all that I believe in friendship and love. And truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's all that I believe in friendship and love. Truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. You're an odd